Let your kids what's it?
Welcome everyone to the UndercoverBrony Reviews. The episode reviewed today will be The Mysterious Mare-do-well, written by Meriwether Williams.
So I just watched Mysterious Mare-do-well again, and I gotta say, it's better than I remember. But does that mean it's a good episode? Find out now on the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Dun, 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 dun. You know, I saw you holding that hammer, and I thought, is he going to break something?
I am Limp Bizkit right here, but let's hammer away at this episode and see what we can come up with.
Let's hammer away. Oh, yeah, hammer away. Yeah, you proud of yourself for that one? Hammer away. Hammer away. So, this is... As Alex Jones once said, this is the big enchilada. This is, you know, there's a lot of episodes in the show where I can think of people loving it or hating it. This episode's not like that episode. This episode is hated it, really hated it, or you tolerated it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never had anyone go up to me and look me in my fat face and be like, hey, you know what? Mysterious Mare-do-well, they got some bars. They're pretty good.
Exactly.
And I'm going to tell you this. There's several things that in my mind, when people tick certain boxes,
Mm-hmm.
That's when I'm like, okay, you're just a contrarian. Liking Mysterious Mare-do-well, you're a contrarian, bro. I can understand Spike at your service better than Mysterious Mare-do-well. And I remember when that episode came out, everyone was like, oh, it's the new Mare-do-well. But whatever. Yeah, so Mysterious Mare-do-well. Is it minus 5 stars?
Here's what I find interesting is the fact that Josh Scorcher actually liked this episode, which I find interesting because, well, actually no one
Josh
else.
Scorcher's a contrarian. I've watched his videos for 10 years, okay? That dude's oh, God, I've been watching his videos for like 10 years. I've been watching his videos for like 8 or 9 years. That dude's a contrarian, okay? It's okay. I didn't interview him. You did. This is my hot take, not yours.
Well, I'll tell you this. It kind of makes sense that he'd be contrarian because he actually liked Three's a Crowd. I'm sorry, but if you actually enjoy Three's a Crowd, I ain't going to call you a sheep, but just saying,
Listen,
got some disagreement.
Listen, I like your top 10 lists, okay? I always liked your outro because it's like, oh, it's TF2, and I think that's like a clip from a Dragon Ball fighting game. That's rad. Your playthrough of the emulated Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, like before they re-released it on PS3, that was good stuff, bro. The only thing I legitimately don't like about Josh Scorcher is that goatee of his. He's way too good. He's way too good a person for that facial hair.
Anthony C., brought that up in the Celestial Advice review. He's just like, hi, it's the Fiery Joker. Bad.
But anyway, so Mysterious Mare-do-well. Here we go. Apparently it has big name defenders. Who knew?
So let's see how good or bad this episode genuinely is after all these years. So this episode starts off at the Cutie Mark Crusaders Clubhouse, which apparently has basically a bunch of the Phillies from their class invited. And they're having what Scootaloo calls the Rainbow Dash fan club. She's wearing a rainbow mane, and there's a bunch of Phillies and Colts that are like, yay, Rainbow Dash.
This episode almost ruined Scootaloo for me. I remember thinking when I watched this years back, because I remember thinking, okay, clearly Scootaloo has some admiration thingamajigamabob going on with old Rainbow Dash. That's cool. That's kosher. I'm about it. It makes for some very neat fanfics. But I remember just like, really, bro, the hair, the fan club. Ugh. Granted, this is also peak. Hashtag fuck Rainbow Dash. Not like the dude with the jar. I mean, just, fuck this character.
Not the meme of I want to come inside Rainbow Dash. No, we're not going there.
Not IWCIRD.
Mm.
Oh my god, I got that right. I hate myself. Okay, so keep going.
Funny. I was at a Brony convention several years ago, and I was going on the up escalator, and there was a guy coming down on the down escalator. Legit, his shirt was Rainbow Dash doing that, face down, ass up pose from that meme, and it literally had the abbreviation of that, the actual letters for I want to come inside Rainbow Dash. And I'm like, oh my god. First of all, peak cringe. Second of all, you're a brave motherfucker to do that.
There's a thin line between brave and stupidity, John, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think an I want to come inside Rainbow Dash shirt is a hill that I'm willing to martyr myself on.
It goes through, and they're trying to find a new name to describe Rainbow Dash. And you hear a voice outside about, what about Super Ultra Extreme Mouse Amazing? And Scootaloo's like, yeah, fuck it, we'll go with that. And you realize it's Rainbow Dash outside the clubhouse eating all this attention up. She was definitely wolfing it down, that's for sure. But then you have Rainbow Dash realizing that there's this pony that fell down a well. Little Timmy fell down a well, and Lassie is nowhere to be found.
Lassie!
So she goes in and saves this filly. And I love how there's a little blush when she closes her eyes after she gets saved. And then she comes down, and she starts getting this crowd around her. And she's like, wow, what's with this crowd? And it's like, well, you just saved someone. That's awesome. And then there's a string of coincidences, which the only time it has shown up, what in the hell is up with that hill that is just like a veer off a cliff? Like, is that supposed to be like Suicide Hill or something? Just saying.
Nah, it's the equivalent of, you ever watch 300?
Yes.
Remember how at the beginning of the movie they're just like, oh, if your kid shows any, like, I don't know, physical deformities or, I don't know, has Asperger's or something, we eat them off a cliff. It's like that. If the ponies there don't, look, imagine Rainbow Factory, but for Earth ponies, okay? Is that just Charity's Garden? I don't... What happened in Charity's Garden again? She, like, killed the kids and planted them?
I have no idea. But I'm actually surprised, speaking of 300, that there was not a bona fide version of that where they had that hill and it was someone going, this is Ponyville, and kicks a pony off that cliff.
No, I'll do you one better. That's the cliff where Rarity goes, where she checks her dresses and she's like, you are not fabulous. And then she eats them off the side of the cliff.
Exactly. But then you get to see where Rainbow Dash is slowly but surely getting more egotistical about all this, as she does, which...
This episode really made me appreciate Rainbow Dash's characterization for, like, the last 3 or 4 seasons of this show. Because, yeah, she had up and downs, but Jesus Christ. She actually had... She's kind of like Naruto, or, like, if you talk to anyone, they were just like, oh, bro, Naruto has like no character development, but like if you were to like watch back to back the first episode of Naruto and the last episode of Naruto, not Shippuden, but like the original Naruto, you'd be like, oh damn, there's actually a very clearly developed character here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so Rainbow Dash is like that. She would do a Naruto run. She would do a Naruto run though, as weeb as I want to be.
I want to see the
Konnichiwa, Scootaloo.
Running into Area 51. They can't stop me. I'm too fast. But I gotta say, the fact that you were talking about Naruto, I could definitely see where you're coming from with that, because if you look at Naruto from the first episode, he's just a whiny little brat and just like way too over the top, especially his English voice actor being like, believe it. I'm like, oh my fucking God, shut up. But
you almost wonder, you almost have to wonder if like that was intentional. You almost have to wonder if that was intentional.
I get that. Like, I definitely get that it was supposed to be intentional. But it's one of those things that, you know, by the end of the original series, you're like, wow, he's actually grown a lot as a character, and he's not that whiny little kid anymore. Same thing with Aang from Avatar. You know, he starts out as like this.
Aang's a little more noticeable, I would think, but
yeah,
I think he's a little more noticeable than Naruto. But yeah, for sure. I was gonna throw out Neville Longbottom, but everyone knows that because, bro, everyone loves Neville Longbottom.
Oh, dude, especially at the end when he uses that sword to cut the parcel tongue snake in half. You know, the last.
Oh, dude, that was so metal.
Oh, dude,
I remember reading that, and I'm just like, yeah, get it, Neville. So you were saying about the plot, and I don't mean the horse ass. I mean the story.
Yep. So then you have the rest of the main six being like, you know, she's not being modest, she's not being humble, whatever.
Oh, they're getting pissed. They're getting like actually upset.
Yeah. So then they're at Sugar Cube Corner, and you find out that Rainbow Dash is telling a story about one of her rescues, of course, with a crowd around her, of course, and being like, why, Danger's my middle name. Rainbow Danger Dash. I'm like, shut up. But
this bitch is trying to be like Homer reciting the Odyssey, except it's about her.
Exactly. Then you have one of the stupidest lines of stupidest points of idiot
so passionate
that I have ever seen from this character. You had Spike being like, Spike has hoof-picked me to write her autobiography. And Twilight very astutely said, autobiographies are written by the pony they're about. You know, otherwise it's just a biography. And then you have Rainbow Dash say, maybe your average run-of-the-mill pony. Dude, I'm sorry, but you are not in any way allowed to change the definition of a word to suit your own needs. Then again, in our modern political system, that's exactly what's happening. And that's the only political joke we'll have for this entire review. Moving on.
Oh, Jonathan. Clap, clap, clap.
Yes.
That was so subtle and nuanced. So I completely forgot, by the way, that Rainbow Dash said that. I remember watching that for the first time, and I'm just like, okay, am I high, or is there something I'm missing here? What's going on? Because I'm like, that's literally what that is, Rainbow. Mm-hmm. That's literally. Oh fuck! That's literally. Okay, Twilight did not lie to you. She did not construct a false narrative. God.
Just imagine a Rainbow Dash going up and being like, "You are fake news." That would be so perfect. Then
continue talking about the episode.
Yes. Now the main six concoct a plan. And you see their plan enacted in a very subtle way, and you don't realize it's them until the end of the episode. But you have a balloon, hot air balloon that's falling from the sky. And Rainbow Dash is doing autographs. And she's like, aren't you going to go save them? And no, I got not another 20 seconds before I need to go in and get them. And I'm like, oh my God, Rainbow Dash, stop. Just stop. I'm sorry, but your egotistical bullshit has reached its end. Okay?
I remember hearing that, and I was just like, homeboy, you're not the Flash, okay? You're not basically instantaneous. You like have a startup time and an acceleration time and handling stats, okay? You can't just be like Wally West and just be like zoop. You can't be like Wally West for that episode of SpongeBob where he's like, you want to see me run to that rock and back? Doesn't move. You want to see me do it again? You know what I mean? Yeah. I just remember I'm just like, man, I knew this was going to backfire, but I didn't know it was going to backfire quite like as it did.
Exactly. And, then you see this one character jump onto a hill and looks just like Darkwing Duck or Batman, like in all seriousness. And
on the danger that trots in the night.
It's not the hero Ponyville needs. It's the hero that Ponyville deserves.
I can be a symbol. That's better than I don't know, just, how's the score for that go? Oh, jeez. Yep. I may or may not have spilled water on my keyboard now.
So then you have this new character save the people in the hot air balloon. And then Rainbow Dash crash into the top of it. And I'm like, that's why you shouldn't have been so fucking cocky. But she goes in and she's seen the fact that this new character, he's being dubbed by Mare as the mysterious mare-do-well. And I gotta say, I do like that naming because it's just awesome. Especially with the fact that you've had, it's a play on the words ne'er-do-well, which, really thinking about it, ne'er-do-well is really negative, but Mare is putting it in a positive connotation, which I really like. And it's another
theory. This episode was written by Meriwether Williams, and I think she came up with the name mare-do-well because mare-do-well sounds close enough to Meriwether.
Yeah,
actually, it sounded more like that in my head. I thought, no, it's a cool name.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they never brought back mare-do-well in some capacity, because it'd be kind of like, you ever see that episode of Teen Titans? Because they had two with that Red X dude.
Oh yeah, totally. I love that episode.
Yeah. Okay. So in that first one, it's like totally legitimately Robin, but then like in the second episode, they like left it ambiguous as to whether or not it was Robin or like another imposter. They could have done a thing like that. That would have been neat.
From the second episode, wasn't Robin already with the team when Red X came up again?
Well, yeah, he was, but they doubted him. They suspected him because in the first one they saw him get trapped by Red X, but it was just a hologram that he had made. So they were so the whole episode they're just like, oh, is this the other hologram? And Robin's like, no, man, I'm not Red X anymore. And then they're just like, I don't know, and they like never answered that, which was fine. But yeah, no, they could have done a thing like that with mare-do-well, where Twilight was like, I swear none of us were actually mare-do-well, but I don't know, it's just left on like a cliffhanger or something. That would have been cool.
I totally see where that could be an interesting plot point. And we know this show could do something along those lines. It's certainly done weirder before, and since especially. But you then get to see a group of scenes where mare-do-well is saving ponies, and then Rainbow Dash is lagging behind, trying to make her jealous. And eventually, she's in this rain cloud. Why am I feeling this way? And all this other bullshit. And it's like, I mean, have I changed? And she's going along with, oh, I have this same flowing mane, same spectacular hooves, whatever. And I'm perfect. They're wrong. But then why do I feel alone? And I'm like, if you're trying to make me feel for you, it ain't working. I'm sorry.
I found it funny. TV Tropes has a trope for this episode listed. It just says, attention whore. Dash loves the spotlight.
Yeah, exactly. And so then you have Scootaloo come up to the cloud. And she's like, you know what? We're having this party, this celebration for mare-do-well, and Dash is just like, okay, no, you're no longer my you used to be my biggest fan, but I guess you're not, sort of thing. And so then you have this town hall thing where they're doing this parade in honor of mare-do-well, and I absolutely love the signs for mare-do-well that's in the audience, because it is totally a Batman reference, like utterly and completely, with the orange background and just the outline. It's great.
Do you know how many Batman the Animated Series homages on T-shirts I saw because of this episode? I saw the only reason why mare-do-well was kind of cool was because the character lended itself to pretty decent merch.
Exactly. One scene I do want to talk about before we get to the actual ending of the episode is there is one scene where there's this big dam that's having this little crack that's in there that's dripping a little bit. And when Dash plugs the hole, it's reminding me of that old fable where that kid comes across a crack in the dam and he puts his finger in there to plug it and saves the city from being flooded or whatever. Do you remember a fable similar to that?
I can't think right now. Normally I'm pretty good with that stuff, but I can't think of it at the moment.
Yeah, it's an old fable. I know it's been several years since I've read that.
Is it one of them Aesop? Is it one of them Aesop fables or like something?
I think so. Yeah, but then you have Rainbow Dash, being like, okay, what are you behind that mask? Show yourself, Batman. Every night that you don't, people will die. No. Have Rainbow Dash be the Joker. She's already colorful enough for it. And just be like, every night that you don't show your face, ponies will die. Starting tonight. I'm a man of my word.
I'm just imagining. I'm just imagining Rainbow Dash holding a knife to someone's throat and just being like, "You want to know how I got this rad?"
Yeah.
Or something.
You want to know how I got these sunglasses?
When I was a child, my father was a supporter and a hugger, and he would always kiss my mother before he left for work, and they gave me a very positive environment. And whenever I'm like mad at them, they're just like, why so serious? And then the person with the knife to their throat just like, I don't know, man, just sounds like you need to go to therapy. Slice his throat.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I could totally see that. Just be like, goes up to Mayor, upset the establishment and enter a little chaos. But then you find out it's the main six. It's funny because this is right before Twilight becomes an alicorn, and you get to see a magic user and a Pegasus for the for mare-do-well, and I'm thinking, oh, how little they knew. It's funny that it did that. they're trying to tell Rainbow Dash that she needs to be modest and humble. Here's the problem. One itty-bitty, borderline inconsequential problem. And that would be the scene inside Sugar Cube Corner where they're complimenting themselves. If they were complimenting each other, that would make a lot more sense because they're not bragging. They're actually showing each other that we don't need to talk about ourselves. So what if our friends are talking about, what we're doing as mare-do-well? It's not a big deal. But the fact that they were talking, especially Twilight being like, I must say that was a fair bit of magic with fixing the dam. And then Piggy being like, she must have some pretty good reflexes for saving those ponies at the construction site. I'm like, girls, you just completely ruined the message of this episode because you yourselves were not being humble.
You shot your moral in the foot. You shot your moral in the foot because the idea is, hey, Rainbow Dash is trying to be like an asshole or is being an asshole. So they're like, okay, we're going to try to help her to not be an asshole. But the thing is that, now listen, even if it was just the other ones complimenting them and like Twilight never patted herself on the back and Pinkie Pie and all them, even if they never complimented themselves and they only complimented each other, it still would have been a little contrived because you would have figured out, oh, they must have planned that to get Rainbow Dash's goat. But that's my thing. If they had at least explained, if they had done that and been like, well, you notice how we complimented each other and not ourselves, that's being a hero or whatever. But like the thing is that they could have even at least been like, yeah, we did that on purpose because we knew it would rile you up. But no matter how you look at this, it shoots itself again in the foot because like you intentionally put Rainbow Dash in unwinnable scenarios because yeah, she's faster than all of them, but she doesn't necessarily have Pinkie Pie's like flexibility and reaction speed necessarily. She doesn't have Fluttershy's capacity for animals. She can't do magic, and honestly, she's probably not as strong as Applejack. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the message of the episode got bungled because the point is that yeah, they want her to do good deeds for the sake of doing them, not to feed her ego. But when you have the people trying to teach you that lesson intentionally, not only clearly, they literally, you could almost call the main six antagonists. Like Rainbow Dash is the one that's being all ego and stuff, but she's not really an antagonist. She's just being a flawed protagonist. The main six egged her on and antagonized her to keep trying to up the ante, which put her and other people in risky situations. Mm-hmm. So now, granted, on the one hand, you could make the argument that because all six of them were there at these events, they knew that they would be able to minimize collateral. But that's just trying to give the show and characters credit that we don't know that we can give them. Mm-hmm. If we take it at face value, this is a flawed lesson. And Rainbow Dash looks like an asshole, but to give her some credit, so do the main six. So, it's just pick your poison, I guess. Exactly. Do you side with the egotistical person who needed to be humbled, or do you side with the five people that deliberately antagonized Rainbow Dash, arguably acted like hypocrites in some part, and put people in danger just to prove a point?
Exactly. And that's what I feel is the biggest problem with this episode is the fact that chick really sours it. The fact that the message was that badly portrayed, it sours the rest of the episode, unfortunately. What would you rate it numerically?
What would you rate it? Because Because listen, this episode has aged similar to Twilight. Like, if you really hated Twilight back then, you can look at Twilight 10 years later and ironically just be like, it wasn't that bad. It's such a meme. That's what this episode is. Because this episode is so consistently badly talked about and stuff, and because I've had literally a long-ass time to think about this episode, not like every day, obviously, but just, whenever it comes up or whenever we were going to talk about it today, I can't say it's my least favorite episode. I can tell you when I watched this episode, at the time, I might have said this was my worst episode, my least favorite episode, but I don't think I could say it now. So to answer your question, it's not as bad as 246 Great.
Oh, definitely
God, no.
not.
It's not as bad as Cart Before the Ponies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely not bad like Three's a Crowd. Which, if you think about it, Three's a Crowd sucks, but Three's a Crowd's more disappointing than anything. Because going into it, it's like, first post-Reform Discord episode, he gets a song, but then it just gets stale. The other episodes were just bad. There's no way around it. This episode's like somewhere in the middle. Like, it's bad, but because it's had time to age, like not like fine wine and not sour like milk, it's had time to age as a meme. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, this is a 6.5.
Okay.
Because listen, it's aged like a meme, but I mean, a trash can's a trash can, bro. A lamp post is a lamp post, and a bad episode's a bad episode.
Yeah. I'm going to rate this 6.75, mainly because it's not as bad as I remember it being, but it's still pretty bad. So
yes, exactly. Saying something isn't as bad as I remember or as bad as I thought it would be, that's not a compliment and that's not praise, and I wish people got that. I've seen so many people just be like, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's still bad. Now, if you're telling me this is better than I thought it was going to be, then yeah, okay, that's a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But not, this wasn't as bad as I thought. That's not a compliment. It's not like there's not good points about this episode. I mean, it looks nice and some of the gags are okay. And mare-do-well itself is a nice image. But, that's it, bro. It's a wrap.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, with a lot of these episodes, like my wife and I are going through the series again, and we're currently getting near the end of season 2. And a lot of these episodes, especially ones that I hate, I have to be at the point where I just accept them as they are because I know my thoughts on them and I know they're not going to change. So I just kind of accept it and move on.
Yeah, that's fair.
There is one particular episode coming up that I cannot do that. It's one of those episodes where I looked at it and it was worse than I remember. Which I'm not going to tell you guys what that episode is because, especially for the fact that I know I'm just going to get absolutely roasted if I explain it now instead of waiting until the actual episode. So I will leave it at that. Next week, sweetly, I have a lot to say about that episode, but you will find that out when we review it. So, until next time, that's it from me, John.
And me, Snakeskin.
And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, Dragon.
Adios.